Freedom Growers. Welcome back to Keys Guide to Freedom. Today we're going to be trading the. Oh, we have a little echo. Let me fix it. All right. Nope, I still hear it. All right, there we go. All right, so what was I was talking about? Oh yeah, so let's talk about today's episode. We're going to be instead of talking about crypto charts, we're going to be talking about crops. Instead of swapping the side hustle with hustle culture, we're going to be talking about harvest culture. The why is because life, hear me out now, life is a farm. Your environment is the soil, your goals are your crops, your relationships, well, that's your livestock. You miss the season of tending to these things, and things get weedy real quick. Let's break this down. All right. So, we're going to talk about in this episode why toxic people are like locusts, how the weather's life droughts without losing your roots, and why your farm needs a guard llama. So let's get your hands dirty. So let's talk about your environment, aka the soil. Now, it's very important. It's extremely important uh, to make sure that your environment is set for growth. Right? Your environment is reason why I use it as a soil because think about it like this, right? Your dirt, your environment. This is your habits, the energy that you have around you, right? Crappy soil, nothing will grow. But if your soil is rich, it'll flourish like pumpkins in October, right? Just whatever you think it just come up like just like that. So the first thing we need to do is assess your soil. Is your soil toxic? The people around you, the energy around you, maybe your job is draining you, friends gossip like crows, your daily routine is drier than the desert, right? Let's test these things out. Take a look because we got to cultivate. You have to add compost. What is compost? You say, well, it might be something as reading a book, right? A motivational YouTube video or something like that. Maybe even listening to Keys Guide to Freedom. Something that's gonna add nutrients in your life, right? So try without that. Have you ever tried to grow a rose bush in a Walmart parking lot? How did that work? Right? It's bad, right? It's too many people around. It's just not gonna work, right? So how about this, right? This week, let's write down one thing that's poisoning your soil. Either delete it, block it, or compost it, right? If it's your mindset or something, let's start putting good things into your mind, listening to different things that's going to enhance your life. All right. So now that we got the soil taken care of, let's talk about your crops, aka your goals and dreams, right? But here's the kicker when you're talking about planting seeds and growing your crops, your goal. You cannot control the weather. The weather's the weather, right? And life is just like that, right? It's going to throw you hurricanes, it's going to give you droughts, it's going to give you occasional hailstorm, but you have to adapt. You have to adapt, right? You have to be resilient. You have to be a resilient seed. You plant your seeds in the ground, right? Something's going to come up and challenge you. You have to be resilient. And this is why it's so important to have that nutrients in your soil, to have those positive things, positive people, right? Um, and you also need to be diverse. So if one thing shuts down, since we're talking about like farming, so let's say rain is killing your tomatoes. Let's plant mushrooms, right? Start freelancing, do some gig work, whatever you need to do to just to kind of free yourself up and plant those seeds and grow the goals that you want, right? The goal might not change, just the method achieving the goal. So here's the action step, right? Write down one goal and write down three different plans to achieve that goal, right? So now that we got our goals and dreams, let's talk about pests and predators. Remember, you got to protect your harvest, right? So what are pests, you say, right? Those are energy vampires, procrastination rabbits, self-doubt beetles, right? Chewing up your ground from underneath, right? And the predators, they're like wolves, eyeing your lifestyle, which is your friendships, your relationships, right? Those are the people that kind of come in your life and just kind of wreck how your bonds are with your other friends. You ever get that one girl in your life or that one guy in your life who can't stand your friends? You know, some of it might be justifiable, but a lot of times it's just like they just don't. I don't like them. You need to stop hanging. For no reason, just for coming in there ruining. Ruining the relationship between your those those are wolves. Those are the coyotes of life, right? You got to protect your livestock, protect those relationships, especially if they're feeding into you, right? So you have to build fences, and fences are boundaries, right? You want to make sure that you got healthy boundaries. That way, when you see somebody approaching those boundaries, it can identify, hey, listen, you're toxic, you're a predator. Let's not do that. I don't really want to have you this close into my life, right? Since you assess them. I always say assess your relationships, right? If you look and you got that person who always need a favor but never there to give you one, probably it's time to kind of cut them off or give them some space or put those barriers right there, right? Because letting pests roam free in your life is like hosting a raccoon buffet in your garden, right? Your garden is going to be the main course. At the end of the day, you're not going to have anything. So here's that action step. Assess your relationships, and let's weed out the predators, weed out the wolves in sheep clothing, right? And if you have one, this is what you have to. Yeah, I don't care if it's your aunt Karen who hates your life choices, right? You need to put a barrier on there because you need that good energy. Because why? Because your farm feeds your soul. It's very important, right? You reap what you sow, and how you take care of your goals and your dreams, and how you take care of your relationships, aka your livestock. That is going to have a direct report on how full your soul is, how full your life is with all of the good stuff, right? So here's what we want to do, right? We want to make sure that we're celebrating key points, right? That we have time to meditate, right? That we are tracking our progress, right? Because what can be measured can grow, right? What can't be measured can grow. So you want to make sure you track your progress, and you want to make sure that you take time because burnout do happen. So you want to make sure that you plan in trips, that you're doing something that's going to help revitalize you, right? Whether you're now, let's talk about generational farming, right? A lot of people are it's like a catchphrase, right? Generational wealth, which is a beautiful thing. I'm so happy that people are starting to talk about this now. Now, generational wealth is like leaving seeds for the next generation, right? Whether it could be something as simple as kind of, and not always about money, but definitely monetary does help. But it could be something as simple as you know leaving being a representation of holding down business. Also, you know the farm, right? Your goals and your dreams should carry over. You should have some of those crops that carry over to the next generation, right? So here's an action step, right? Let's harvest a win, right? So this week we're going to celebrate. You always want to celebrate. These are the things that you want to do. You want to make sure that you want to document a win that you did this week in your journal, and just celebrate it. Do something special for yourself, right? Take yourself out on a date, take yourself to a movie, go have a drink, go work out. Whatever you do to celebrate, just make sure you celebrate that win. Because what it does is it triggers in your mind, like, okay, we are on the right track. And I want to stay on that right track. So don't get buried by just the day to day hustle. Make sure that you're taking time, right? Now remember, farming is hard work, right? It's not a one time thing. It's something that you always got to do, right? In the words of Nipsey Hussle, it's a marathon. Life is a marathon. So we want to make sure that we're not only, just going, but we're going with purpose. We want to make sure that we are cultivating our goals. We want to make sure that we're making sure that our environment is one that promotes growth, not death. We want to make sure that our goals is well taken care of. We're doing the necessary action steps to achieve our goals. We want to make sure that we're protecting our our relationships and not letting people come in and just wreak havoc on. Right. We want to make sure that we're doing all these things, and if we do all of this, your life will be full of love, happiness, and joy. All right. So this is Deron Keys again. Call me TK. This is Keys Guide to Freedom. This is just one of my little quick hits. Hope you enjoy. You guys take it easy. I'm out.